G'day and welcome to the NRL Round 15 preview. And let's get straight into it. We're going to start with the ladder this week. Brought to you by Freddie Fittler's Cosmic Coffee. After the Blues' amazing performance in Origin 2, Freddie was getting slammed from all quarters. I don't know what he puts in his coffees, but it worked. 7 changes, a game plan that was, look, he's a gambler and a genius, I've worked out. In other words, don't doubt Freddie. I know he doesn't. He just goes with his gut, and his gut came up trumps. And he's also got a 90% off his favourite coffee, the Coach Whisperer. That's going cheap. If we go look at the ladder very quickly, the Melbourne Storm out in front. Again, as week in, week out, year in, year out, they're the standard. They've got a bit of a gap on the Roosters and the Rabbitohs. Now, the team to watch for me are the Sharks. Watch them go. And if we look down the bottom, from the Warriors to the Panthers, those teams with 11 rounds to go, they need to start winning and stringing some games together or they'll lose touch with the top 8. Let's get into round 15. We start at ANZ Stadium. It's the Rabbitohs versus the Tigers. Now, English people, there was no Burgeye last game and it looked weird not seeing any Burgeye running around for the Rabbitohs, but George is back from illness. Now, Sam's been named on an extended bench. I'd hold him back for another week. Look, if he wants to play, he'll play. So he could be a late inclusion. But massively, for the Rabbitohs, Adam Reynolds is back. And he'll run the show. Give early ball to James Roberts. I'm looking for him to explode. Robbie Farah against Damien Cook will be an interesting battle. And I think Robbie Farah, if the Tigers are going to win, their forwards have got to try and hold George Burgess and Totola. I don't think they can. I think the Rabbitohs will be too strong. Look for James Roberts to get unleashed. Cody Walker, he's probably out of Origin 3 frame, but I'm looking for his confidence has been rocked. I'm looking for him to bounce back. Rabbitohs, I think they'll win comfortably by 10. Okay, let's move on to Friday night. And first up, big game, Dragons, Cowboys. It's a big game in regards to where they are on the table. Both need to win and need badly. The Dragons have 3 Origin forwards backing up, but the one I'm going to focus on is the heavyweight battle of the lock forwards. Tyson Fury Frizzell taking on Jason, the boulder with shoulders, Taumalolo. And I think whoever can get the knockout blow in that will go a long way towards deciding this game. We all know the Cowboys run off Taumalolo. If you can stunt his impact, you'll most probably win the game. But one key for the Cowboys is Scott Drinkwater has been brought from the Melbourne Storm. He was too good for reserves, and he's quick as anything. He's at fullback, which has finally brought Michael Morgan back to where he belongs at 6. But I think the Dragons, with Corey Norman and Ben Hunt pulling the strings off the back of those forwards, I think the Dragons will win that, and the Dragons will win that by 4. Won't be a very tight contest. Now, the next game is an absolute bottler. We're going to the City of Churches, people, for the Melbourne Storm versus the Sydney Roosters. A replay of last year's grand final. Last year in the City of Churches, it was a Cameron Smith field goal that was the difference. In game 1 between them this year, it was a Latrell Mitchell field goal that was the difference. I'm expecting a very tight contest yet again. Now, Ryan Hall has been named in the 5 jersey, and he's up against Josh Adokar. I mean, there's matchups that are, for the rugby league purists, this will be an absolute rip snorter. Ryan Hall, if he can get over the top of Josh Adokar, that'll be a big notch on his belt and improve his confidence. He's got that number 5 jersey locked in as far as I can see. Trent Robinson's giving him a really good run. I'd love to see him get over the stripe, and that'll just boost his confidence even more. Watch for Latrell Mitchell. He's only got 2 games to show to Freddie Fittler that he wants to be a part of that Origin 3 match. We know he's been out of sorts. He's up against Will Chambers, who he's owned for the last couple of years. I'm expecting a massive game from Latrell Mitchell. If I was the Roosters, get him involved early, lots of early ball, let him loose. But I think the Melbourne Storm, with their 4 Kiwi forwards backing up after they tore Tonga apart, watch Brandon Smith off the bench. He killed Tonga, and I think he could be a big difference again in this game. His impact is immense. He's getting better and better as he ages. Cameron Smith will retire in the next year or 2, and if they can hang on to him, they've got a ready-made genius. I think Munster and Croft, with Drew Hutchison playing 5'8", Munster's the man who can get it over the top of Hutchison and the Roosters. I actually think the Melbourne Storm, they're going too good at the moment. The Melbourne Storm to win by 1. I'm going for another 1-point game. Let's rip into Super Saturday. And the Seagulls are flying to the glitter strip to take on the Titans. This will be a huge game for the Titans. They're pretty much out of contention, so they're a very dangerous side. We know they can throw it about, but they are the ultimate rocks and diamonds team in this competition. There's no Ash Taylor again, still off on personal leave. Puts a lot of pressure on Mo Fotuaika and the rest of the forwards. Jared Wallace, he was very poor in Origin too. He's got 2 games to show Kevy Walters that he wants to be part of that game against the other team. And I just think Manly, with the Trbojevic brothers who are on fire, Daly Cherry Evans, they've got a great spine. Faianu is playing great at hooker. He's replaced Coruscant, who's injured. Cust at 5'8" is just playing the lights out. With Fanua Blake and Tapau up front, it's Manly all the way. And I think the Seagulls will do this quite comfortably. I'm going the Seagulls by 14. Now, this is a very, very interesting game. Intrigue Central. 5:30, McDonald Jones Stadium in the Hunter. It's Newcastle Knights versus Brisbane Broncos. The Knights are flying high. Yes, they did get their 6-game losing streak, broken by the Melbourne Storm, but that's no shame. Ponga and Gillespie were under an injury cloud after Origin. They've been picked. They're playing. So you got Ponga and Pearce. And David Clemmer's back. He's been picked in jersey 19. I think he's going to play. You got Clemmer and Saifidi up front laying the platform. There's a lot for Pearce and Ponga to play off, and Connor Watson's been doing really well out of dummy half. Watch his scoots. For the Broncos, they're really, really struggling a little bit. They're really struggling with Anthony Seibold's structures that he's put in place. And look, they've got a big young forward pack, but Matt Lodge and Payne Haas really need to stand up and get some backup from Tavita Pangai Jr. and Joe Ofahengawi off the bench. Milford, a lot of it revolves around Milford. If he doesn't fire, the backs won't unleash. I think it'll be a really close game, but I actually think the Knights, through Pearson, Ponga and Clemmer, Saifidi, they'll get the job done. Knights by 4. Now, English people, get ready. We're going to Darwin for the Raiders and the Eels. Eels always take a game to TIO Stadium in Darwin. But guess what? Sorry, my batteries are starting to go. And you know what may go on the Raiders is their energy levels, because they're leaving the Canberra cold for the heat and humidity of Darwin. But Josh Hodgson's back. This is great news for the Raiders. He's come back a couple of weeks early. They've got all 4 Raiders on deck. Bateman and Whitehead. Well, Bateman's the buy of the year. He's killing it. Ryan Sutton off the bench. Big impact from him. But this will be hard. This will be tough. The Eels have got a really good back row. Sean Lane, Manu Ma'u, and Nathan Brown. Now, Dylan Brown, and speaking of Browns, Dylan Brown is back, the young genius. He's been out for a very long time with a back injury. He's back. Him and Mitchell Moses are the key to unlocking the big back 3 of Sevo, Ferguson and Gutherson. I think the Raiders' defence has been brilliant all year, and I think they'll get the job done again. It's off the back of the Raiders' defence that they'll win this. The Englishmen, with Hodgson pulling the strings, they'll be too good for the Raiders, too good for the Eels, but the Raiders need to be in front with 10 to go. Raiders by 6. All right, let's rip into Sunday. We're going to Mount Smart Stadium in Auckland. It's the Warriors and the Panthers. The Panthers have won 4 straight, so they're on a roll. Nathan Cleary's out, but that doesn't matter. James Maloney will just do what he did in Origin. He'll run the show. But they're up against the Warriors, who, well, actually, when I said the Titans were the ultimate rocks and diamonds, you might want to, I tell you, on the podium right behind them are the Warriors. If they can get on top of the Panthers forward pack, Blake Green, Cody Nikorima, but more importantly, Roger Tuivasa-Sheck. I'm going for a Roger the Dodger RTS masterclass to get the Warriors home. Warriors by 4. Okay, and we finish up. This is... Bulldogs fans might want to put a blindfold on and cover their ears. The Bulldogs are taking on the Sharks at ANZ to finish the stadium. Look, the Bulldogs are battling. We all know that. The Sharks are getting all their players back. They're the team I'm expecting to jump up. There's no Fafita, he's suspended, but I don't think it'll stop the Sharks. They've got a great forward pack. Sean Johnson, he was brilliant against Tonga for the Kiwis last week. Watch him and Brighton Nakora. They're the key. And on top of that, you've got Moylan. There's too many players off the park. The Sharks will have more points in them and will be too good for the Bulldogs. I'm tipping the Sharks by 20. I think they will rip the poor battling Bulldogs apart. Foran and Johnson is a good one to watch. And if Foran and Corey Harawira and Naira, that's the key. They got Dallin Watene-Zelezniak at fullback, but unfortunately, Bulldogs fans, you're not going to score enough points. Sharks to win easily. That's it for round 15. Get on the website, Serious About Rugby League. Watch the YouTube channel. You're watching it now. Keep watching. I'll see you next week.